So what we have now is a situation where Connecticut is saying that if another state has a law that's crappy, like Texas, where at 6 weeks I can sue anybody who's having an abortion, whether it affects me, whether it affects my neighbor, whether it affects anybody else.
I read about it in the paper, and
That's right.
I was offended over my juice in the morning.
Or even if, and what's fun is I don't even have to prove that I was offended. I can just show up and say, yep, this is what I do for a living now. I scour the newspapers to see that Jane Doe decided to have an abortion. Now I'm suing, and I'm going to personally get 10 grand for that, you know? So typically you have to prove standing, which means that you have to prove that you've been wronged in order to get in front of the courts. This law circumvents that entirely. Connecticut has said, you know what, in order to avoid that, come here. We will protect you because we've created a law that says that they can't come after you for that here. How exactly that's going to work in practice is still somewhat up in the air. Does that mean that we're now going to have similar things to immigration, where we grant refugee citizenship or sanctuary to certain other state citizens? It's really interesting because federally we all have the same United States citizenship. Those questions are still up in the air, but it indicates that Connecticut is, and this is where I think it's important, it indicates that Connecticut's really willing and ready to fight that. We will fight Texas for people who have this problem. We will make sure that if somebody cannot find an abortion in a state because they continue to basically push it back and push it back and push it back, if they can't do that, they can come to Connecticut and they can stay here for a restful enough period of time until they figure it's safe. Then they can either go back, or quite frankly, they can find a way to transition to Connecticut. Connecticut is opening its arms as a refugee haven through this law, which I think is remarkable.